How many rules can one man have? That's what it's like. We have gone and got all the stuff out of the workshop that nobody else wanted. Brought it back to my father's place, and it's very interesting having a little fossick through some of these things and some of the random crap he's kept. And homemade drill sharpener, which is looks probably about as rough as it works. Oh, there's a lot of strange old things. He's got a whole big one of giant big files. Vice grips, fantastic. Used to use these a lot of air radiators. They're brilliant. If you never own vice grips, you don't know what you're missing out on. There's a whole flipping box of them and leather punches. I will be stuffed. I know what these can be used for. We had something which is basically a miniature version of these. As you can see, it's just all little straight bits of wire. A fin brush on a radiator. With most modern radiators, it won't work because of the varying designs and the cheap-ass designs they use these days that are almost as effective, probably not as strong, and a darn sight faster to build, like about 90-something% faster. These don't work, but your old-style radiators where your fins are perfectly straight, if you have a little twangle or a bend, or you try and get something out with a socket and go bang, whoops, and hit the end of the ratchet against it, you can just run these through your fins and all your fins will straighten out again. This obviously is a bigger one. We only had a small width one with like an adjustable plastic band to make them hold together nearer or whatever. I'm sure this has probably got another use altogether that has nothing to do with that, but I know this can be used for that sort of stuff. Yeah, very intriguing, some of the bizarre bits and pieces that come out. I got myself a windscreen smasher and seatbelt slasher that I've chucked in the magazine compartment of my door. A lot of files. This is only small ones. The big ones, holy smoke, there's a whole heap of rasping files and everything. It just goes on and on. I've got myself a one of those big sheet metal drawer sets for all these little screws in your nails, and I think that may come in handy to help find places for some things in all the stuff I've got. Yeah, instead of having car fuses stuck in envelopes and stuff like that, I might start stacking things into that. How's this? Chesterman, I believe that's Bakelite. And, that, I don't know what the go is there, but that flips up. Oh, that's right, yeah, that's to help you wind it back again. What am I thinking? I've got like fiberglass tape, which is like a giant version of these that they use for marking out stuff on building sites. I think that's sitting over in a cupboard somewhere here. Yeah. Oops. Once you wound him back in, and you just go. A lot of weird old gear. Some things which are useless rubbish, other things which we just don't even know what they're for. And it's another old trick I might as well show you. Those are mark things. What do? You go and buy a bit of chalk? No, you get a bit of drywall. And you go, and you run that down your rule. And there's your chalk, there's your actual plaster and your drywall. I've seen some stuff, but I never thought of that idea, and my grandfather's been using this bit of drywall for years to mark things. Actually, it looks like it's two separate pieces of drywall that have been stuck together. It's cut out of a wall, obviously, with a hole saw. And then he's gone and used it to mark all his wood with. That's improvisation. That's saving money to the extreme. And that's a bloody Brazil nut. That's just weird. I think this says companion or something like that. A little bit rusty there, but little holes. Yes, companion down the bottom. All in brass, all soldered along the bottom edge. Pump handle. Turn up and down, refill. Yeah, this is a kerosene stove. Just a tiny little baby one. I have heard something from my dad's great uncle involving U-shape bends inside burners. And, yeah, I'm pretty certain this is a kerosene stove. I don't know, maybe not. Because that down there in the hole looks like a little gas jet. It's obviously not gas, because that there is your pump that you got to pump every now and then to bring the pressure up. So it's probably where the kerosene comes out, a tiny little hole, and then is exposed to air and sort of, yeah, well, there's almost like your Venturi or something like that, and then bingo. Yeah, she burns. But it's definitely not propane or any sort of gas, because it's the old pump handle they used to have to pump to bring the pressure up. We have a few blowtorches that are sort of got a similar thing, and some of you may have seen those because there's enough of them getting around in antique shops that they're sort of a common antique, and they're a similar thing. You've got the little pump handle like that. Yeah, quite intriguing, the stuff that comes out. That's a drawing of one of those ones like we have several of, and if I open this little box, yes, what do you know? That is exactly what I was talking about. Little pump handle, refill, I don't know, I think that's something to do with your flow control, and that little knob there, turn it up, turn it down. And yeah, that's what you use to, basically like a heat gun for getting paint off walls and stuff like that. And that's what my grandfather used to use as part of his day job in repainting old buildings back in the day. Real healthy, because it would have been lead paint that he was getting off. Because I know he's actually painting with lead paint, so, and that little thing there, I believe, just builds your pressure up inside your tin here. Don't know exactly what's in this, but I'd say it'd be little jets and stuff like that. Probably look much like gas jets, like the one on that stove there. Used to have to label everything. Last used around 74, 75, question mark. Obsessed with putting dates on everything, but I mean, that, you know, shows how long it was since he used that. And then he went to a propane one, which we had here, which was a temperamental son of a bitch, which would keep throwing flames out the Venturi hole, and oh god, and the hose on it wasn't very good either. Well, rivers come to a standstill, so we're usually underwater. That was where I got the logs from that I ended up throwing in the fire pit, in a little camping area up above all this, which looks like they've gone and burnt the blooming lot of them, plus some of the twigs and that come out of all the trimming of this thing, which is obviously not really wanted to be in the middle of the river, or the roots. More or less lives hydroponically. There's a number of plants like that are sort of more roots, as you can see, that sort of obtain a weed status, and it's because they get into rivers and just make big root mats. on the riverbed, and it sort of ends up stuffing up the ecosystem a bit. There's all more roots, which is not the way a river was originally supposed to be. This is all as dry. Well, not as dry as chips, but drier than normal. If I'm not mistaken, that's large leaf plantain. I think. I might be wrong. A certain person pointed it out on Mount Dandenong to me. Be interesting if it was large leaf plantain. So I know the ribwort plantain, I got heaps of that. Heaps of sow thistle. Gee, this is all usually underwater, like I was saying. The water usually comes right up the side here and over to near where the trees are there, melaleucas. I think it is plantain, actually. Something likes eating it anyway. Oh, under another bridge. Alrighty, guys. Time for a few wheelie updates. Got a whole bunch of shorn sheep. There's a ram there. Big horns, big balls. Oh, there's a young ram there. Right there. Yeah, I thought my father was going to leave them up the front. They've been shorn now. We've got to get little tiddlers like him and get rid of the tail in about a week or so, and grab hold of a few to go in the freezer because we've basically run out of meat, pretty much. Another old ram over there. I'm trying to eat all the leaves off the bottom of the plum tree. Must taste alright. I've been building something and I got spray painted. Should put a bit more paper down. Anyway, that'll all wear off. One of these days where it's all very blowy and gone cold all of a sudden. As a lot of you guys know, black kitties had kittens. Yeah, works. I had the new boss there today, and cracked the shits about something that I wasn't apparently doing right, but the other boss does it a different way. And supposed to check out pigs every week and see if there's anything wrong. And you know, some of these ones there been there for years, and they got the same problem. Sometimes I try and treat them for it, and because of being on concrete slats, you know, there's a number of them with bad hips or cracked hooves, you know, and it takes a year for a cracked hoof to heal. And if it happened 9 months ago, it's no big deal. But this is the thing. I usually used to go in and say to lesbian friends, boss, I got this one, that one, that one. And she'd just go, oh, he's had that for ages. Oh, that's, you know, don't worry about that one. It's got, you know, old age, bad hips. Oh, this one's always been like that. Nothing we can do about this. Boom, boom, boom. And it was only ones that were real significant that I'd mention. Well, apparently we meant to mention them all. And then I said, so absolutely everything. Oh yeah, but not the ones that you knew were like that the week before. Yeah, you know, that have been like that week after week after week after week. And as he's saying this 5 minutes beforehand, he's having a go at me for not mentioning one which has like a big lump on its arse that it's had for 4 months. And it doesn't seem to be going down, and we've tried to treat it and whatever, and it's still got this big lump. So, I don't know now if I'm supposed to be mentioning every minor thing, but then I'm not supposed to mention every minor thing at the same time. So, who knows. Got to be a bit of a shift and a bit of a change as he takes over. There's some things there that you find out or mention and, you know, always worried about the dryer has lint filters. Oh, we've got to clean them out. I found something that I don't believe anybody has found. I mentioned it as a vent, but I think the was misunderstood as the exhaust vent. In line with the exhaust vent that lets your hot air out in your dryer, there's one on the opposite side, and it's just a cap. And you take the cap off, and you got this massive lint. I'm talking like a whole boot full of lint. And I don't think this thing's ever been emptied out. It's been making a strange burning smell, and I empty it out, and it's like, oh yeah, well that's just whatever, no big deal. Because I think she thinks it's the exhaust vent I pulled off. Oh, I mentioned, you know, I empty it out every month, and I'm like, well, you know, like, how is there this much bloody lint? Like, honestly, it was literally the size of a boot, the amount of flaming lint I got out, and that was just one dryer. Both dryers were like that. Nobody ever notices. You pick up on something like that, almost nothing's noticed. I've found ways where there's problems in things, and I've found ways to fix these problems that have been there ever since I got there. We'll think about it. So much stuff is a stitch in time will save 9, and yet not worried about it. So, you know, in the end they're going to be doing a lot more maintenance than they even needed to do. Meanwhile, they clean the bathroom 3 days out of 4. The whole joint's rattling a bit. Anyway, whatever. You know, it's like my uncle used to say, there's a lot of new employees come to places, they want to do the right thing, they want to put in an effort, and they realise that nobody gives a shit, not including the boss, and then they, you know, their enthusiasm dies, and a chance to improve things, increase efficiency, or fix things up that are an easy fix that are broken is just all lost. But anyway, we'll continue on as they, you know, get picky about some things and let others go to hell in a handbag. And yeah, I'm glad now I didn't buy shares in the joint, let's put it like that. Anyway, weather's sort of strange. It's sort of doesn't know if it wants to be hot or cold. It's not really hot, and usually it starts to get, you know, reasonably hot by now. But you have a day where it's 30 degrees. I mean, it's not even worth putting the misting fan on. And then, you know, it'll be cold a few days later or that night. And yeah, I should mention a lot of the harvesting around here has been happening while we were doing shearing. There was another guy who came in from across the road who's got a canola crop. He got about a third of what he should have got off it in a reasonable year. Less than half what he got off one in another area only just up the road. This dude was coming to see the shearer because he's got a bunch of sheep that need to be shorn. He sort of leases shit land all over the place, and other people who have bought you know, blocks, but have got no sheep on them or whatever, you know, because they're just sort of buying themselves a nice little farm to, you know, for the kids to grow up on and all, but they don't actually have any stock. Well, you know, he'll go and lease those joints for peanuts, or sometimes just nothing at all, and he's got sort of sheep and stuff all over the place as a result. There's a big chook farm, as in battery hens, and they've got some soil which is, some of it's still bush, others of it is like really steep, and you'd never get down there with a tractor. So he leases all that for bloody peanuts, and he used to actually work at that place, which should have, you know, probably helps a lot with the amount he's paying. But yeah, so I met him. He's probably a good bloke to know in regards to farming stuff. And yeah, if I ever need some flaming wheat on the cheap, I'll know where to go to get it. The crop that's around where the piggery is, that's actually been put in by that same battery hen farm for the purposes of feeding their own chickens, that all got done, we're talking about 3 days ago, something like that. Same day the kittens were born. I was at work and they were rolling around with a harvester. Very short, probably not a very good crop either. Sort of looks all rightish near where I park my car, but further out I think it's a lot shorter, and yeah, I don't know sort of how good it all is, but anyway, it's that time of year, but now it's rained today, so it'll be all off for a few more days until it dries out again. It's, I'll also show you the little tiddly. And as I suspected, you can't see a damn thing. So I'll have to get a bit of big camera footage and put it in of you, won't I, puss? It's only 3 days old. Anyway, oh yeah, got the tooth out. $204. Been taking these pills that are hair, skin and nails, and all my other nails are grown, but the one I smacked in the flipping gate is sort of grown, but not as fast as the rest, but it's starting to come out, and yeah, it's going to take a while to fully grow out, obviously, but yeah, don't think there's a great more to talk about. Those of you who going away or whatever, well, I'll see you after Christmas. I sort of missed a week there. This week, when I got my tooth out, I didn't go and upload any videos, so they probably come a little bit later. Yeah. Anyway, in the new year, I hope to show you all this magical thing I've been building. Tony knows about it, and it's going to look crazy, but you'll want one too. It's going to look crackers. It's almost like a suit style thing that you put on, and no, it's not a flippin' rocket powered suit or anything like that, but it looks whack, but I guarantee you'd want one too, and a couple more parts and I will have it all assembled, and yeah. Should plant the bastard. It's just sitting right down the bottom of my potato box. Can't scare the cat, but can't scare tabby cats. You reckon, bud? You want a sniff? No? Not interested? No? Okay.